Hello, welcome to Exploring Christianity, a Journey of Faith. In our last conversation, we looked at the differences between the Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, and Jewish Bibles. In today's video, we'll address the question, why are there different versions of the Protestant Bible? I found the fact that there are different versions of the one and only Bible very confusing when I first became a Christian. If the Bible is holy writing about God and is so critical to the Christian faith, why on earth would there be differences? The first thing to note is that all Protestant Bibles contain the same overall content. They had the same list of books in the Old and New Testament, and these books all contain the same stories, poems, songs, etc. The difference between them is a matter of how the Bible was translated into English. All English Bibles were translated from another language, Hebrew and Aramaic for the Old Testament and Greek for the New Testament. Okay, then why are there different translations of the Bible? I mean, how hard can this be? Translate every word from the original language into English, get it right, and you're done and should never need to do it again, right? Well, it turns out that whenever you translate from one language to another, there are a number of factors that make this an art as well as a science, and so there's no one right translation. These factors include multiple meanings. As you see in an English dictionary, many words have more than one meaning, and often different languages do not have the same sets of meanings for a given word. For example, the word hot in English can mean both having a high temperature as well as spicy. The word caliente in Spanish means having a high temperature, but it does not also mean spicy. The word picante means spicy. So if you're translating something from English to Spanish and you come across the word hot, you have to decide based on the context which definition is meant so you translate correctly. No dictionary. Things get even more complicated if you're translating from an ancient language, because you aren't going to find a set of stone tablets containing the ancient Hebrew to English dictionary. You can find a modern Hebrew to English dictionary, but there are words that are found in ancient Hebrew Bible that don't exist in modern Hebrew. It may be that context is the only way to determine what a specific word meant. Even where specific words are still used in Hebrew today, the meaning of words change over time. The meaning of the words ping, swipe, text, tweet, unplug, and viral have all changed dramatically in just 20 years. Imagine how much the meaning of words can shift in over 3,000 years. Slang. Slang in different languages means different things. There's a phrase in Swedish, for example, that literally translates, "There's no cow on the ice." To a Swedish speaker, this means that there's no reason to worry. I sure wouldn't have recognized what was meant from a literal translation. And one more, sentence structure. Different languages structure their sentences differently. For example, in English, a verb tends to come in the middle of a sentence, and in German, a verb tends to come at the end of a sentence. To be clear to a native speaker, a translation may need to reorder the words in a sentence. For all these reasons and more, doing a word-for-word translation exactly in the original order will often lead to something that's very difficult to understand. Let's look at an example. The New International Version of the Bible translates Matthew 1:18 as, "This is how the birth of Jesus the Messiah came about. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit." According to reasonabletheology.org, a completely literal translation of the Greek into English would read, "Of the but Jesus Christ, the birth thus was, being betrothed the mother of him, Mary, to Joseph, before or to come together them, she was found in belly having from Spirit holy." Wow. All of these reasons and others explain how translating is not an exact science, and so why there cannot be one and only one right translation. Here's some other important reasons why we have multiple translations. There are actually different kinds of translations depending on how close they are to a literal word-for-word translation. Generally, the closer a translation is to being literally word to word, the harder it is to understand. But the truer it is to the original text. We'll talk more about different kinds of Bible translations in the next video. Another reason we have multiple translations is because we can now make better translations than we used to, since we've learned more about the original languages. Finding and studying the Dead Sea Scrolls and other ancient texts have given us more examples of words used in context, which has allowed us to translate them better than we could in the early Bible translations. And one more reason we have multiple translations is that our language continues to shift over time. Obviously, slang changes, but it is more than that. As mentioned above, the meaning of words change. translations can become difficult for modern readers to understand over time. While I know that there are many people who prefer the King James translation of the Bible, which was written in 1611, here are just a few of the obsolete words it contains: beret, beeves, spikenard, farthing, and my personal favorite, nurgle. There may have been a time when many people knew what these words meant, but not anymore. Newer translations reflect modern vocabulary and usage. Before I turn things over to you to share your thoughts, I want to emphasize that different Bible translations are not radically different in meaning. You're not going to find one Bible translation that says Jesus is the Son of God and another that says he was not. You're not going to find one translation that says sin is bad and another that says it's okay. The differences are typically pretty minor. The sites that I looked at all seem to agree that there are no bad modern Bible translations, and that it's most important to pick the kind of Bible that is best suited to your purpose. More on that next time. And the version that speaks to you the most. So, what's your favorite Bible translation and why?